Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the discipline of a Trump lawyer for lies told in the wake of the 2020 election. The lawyer, Jenna Ellis, you may have seen her, fairly young, blonde, came out of nowhere in the wake of the election and just spouting all kinds of whoppers. And the Colorado Disciplinary Committee for attorneys, as part of a settlement with them, she copped to multiple misrepresentations in all those talks, and that's something that is anathema for a lawyer to admit. Terrible blow to one's reputation. But what was she gonna do? Because there's just a long record. Here's a couple of them. On December 5th, she claimed the Trump team had found 500,000 illegal votes had been cast in Arizona. She claimed on November 30th on Fox that Trump had won in a landslide, echoes of Trump's own language. She claimed that the Trump team had uncovered evidence of a coordinated effort in all of these states to transfer votes from Trump to Biden or to count them in secret, etc. So it's clear, I think, that she was in real danger of losing her license to practice, and it was only these admissions that saved her. I actually have a small story to add to the pile here. I used to do Fox News, and I sort of figured I would try to respond reasonably to arguments on the other side, and maybe 3 or 4 viewers would be somewhat persuaded to take a second look. I stopped doing it a while back because I didn't want to lend credence or continued credence to the idea that it was an actual news network instead of what we're learning from the Dominion lawsuit. But one evening I did it, and a woman I didn't know was on the other side. It was Jenna Ellis. I said something, she said something in return. I don't quite remember. I said something, and then she just delivered this complete whopper in constitutional law terms. It was like from Mars. It was 1 and 1 equals 6, just stupefying and stunning that anyone could just get away with it. I guess that was naive on my part. In fact, I told Fox, the only time I've ever done anything like this, I think, I am not going on with her again unless I have the last word, because she just completely lied and trashed what I said, except she was 100% wrong. So I wasn't surprised that she had to admit to all these misrepresentations. I think there's a bigger point here, though. I don't want to pick unduly on Jenna Ellis, though she certainly deserves what she got. But she's someone who I think of as almost a kind of paler version of George Santos. There's her entire resume is basically inflated at best, and I'm sure she is living in a kind of cold sweat that it was all going to be found out, as it has. But it's just remarkable that a person of such meager experience and credentials would find themselves representing the president in court and on Fox TV. And it illustrates a broader part of what this, the overall problems we're trying to dig our way out of are. In the past, I'm thinking about big battles between the parties. Let's say Bush versus Gore, if people are old enough to remember. All the best, strike force of the Republicans flooded the zone in Florida, in fact, early, in some ways, kind of cutting Dems off at the pass. Their counterparts in the Dems came forward, and a civil war ensued, and the Republicans were able to prevail. In Trump land, however, it wasn't those people. Those people abandoned the president, especially after the election. And what remained were the likes of Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, whose main credential were telling the president what he wanted to hear, which were bald-faced lies, And so they would go on TV or go into court, and especially on TV where people, it's a lawyer, looks like talking legal stuff. And it was hard for, I think, a lot of people to register that these were just complete garbage they were spouting, because lawyers don't do that, do they? Or not complete, but they were, in fact. And that was because that's whom Trump was left with, and who sort of towed his barge at the end. So the Fox versus Dominion suit going on is some shining a spotlight on some of the overall sort of big lie, and these proceedings with Jenna Ellis. Rudy Giuliani also has been disciplined. The whole sort of Alice in Wonderland, tear your hair out aspect of the election, which was that one half or one side was telling the truth and the other was telling bald-faced lies, and being amplified as if it's true by a major network. I think the most popular, right, with Fox. It made you think, like, if there can't even be an agreement about, not an agreement, if the truth, the very clear truth, can't be acknowledged, then where are we, and what kind of trouble are we in as a democracy? And it was pretty big trouble, but each sort of blow for truth, each looking back on 2020, as with Jenna Ellis yesterday, and saying, hey, these were lies, and there are consequences for lawyers misleading the court and public, and you've got to pay some price. She got to keep her license, but pay some price. That's an important part of the overall kind of accountability that we're all so hopeful about and hungry for. All right, so there you have it. Jenna Ellis saves her license, but admits multiple misrepresentations. There's more to come in this whole truth versus fiction battle, especially Fox versus Dominion, which is hurtling to trial, but will have important arguments first, in which Dominion hopes to win without even having to go to a jury. I think that's very unlikely, but that's what's happening next. I think that's next week, so I'll follow that closely and be here to report back to you. Until then, have a good weekend, and talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.